It's a pleasure to have you once again on this edition of The Link this week. Thank you for always joining us. And we want to keep our promise to give you information that you can use and opportunities, especially in your business and where your money is concerned. Tonight we're talking about something you could have heard of, but maybe ignored. Maybe you use it, you don't even know. Let me tell you a small story. One day I went to buy fish, and I asked the fishmonger, how can I pay you? He pointed at a merchant code. I was like, wow, even fishmongers have merchant codes now. That's technology in business. But tonight we're talking about QR codes. Maybe you've heard of it, but we're going to expound it tonight. And my guest tonight is Mr. Noah Nyabwana from Jengo Tech Limited. They're tech guys who are involved in that stuff. Noah, welcome.
Thank you very much, Samuel.
Normally we have little time, so we just go into the subject. QR codes. What is that animal called QR codes?
So a QR code, well, QR stands for quick response.
Yes.
These are small square codes that can store almost any kind of information.
I saw it on your phone there.
Yes.
Something the director can zoom in there.
Yeah, something that looks like this. These are, quick response pixels on a screen.
That camera there.
Yeah. That store any kind of information.
Yeah.
You can use them to store information as simple as your name, a website URL, any kind of unique identifier for whatever thing you're selling, whatever item you might have that you want to uniquely identify, and you have maybe a long form kind of text, and you don't want it to be very complicated for you to deal with, you store it behind the QR code. Okay. Some people now have used them for inventory management. Okay. You have your products, you want to uniquely identify each of the products you have in your inventory, and you have unique identifiers for them, and you put them behind QR codes. So it's basically a modern homogeneous kind of code that most modern smartphones are able to identify. Yes.
Very good. And I know most people who are on WhatsApp, you want to connect WhatsApp to your telephone, to your computer.
Yes.
You just do that thing, and
so what WhatsApp does, what Facebook does with their WhatsApp is they have security features to uniquely identify you as the user of your WhatsApp on your phone. Okay. So what they do, they put what they expect you to be able to scan using your phone to allow you to use your WhatsApp on the computer. So they have. So like I said, they can store just anything. So for them, they store security features that uniquely identify you and then allow you to connect to another device. Yes. Okay.
And let's move to business. This tool is there. We're just using it for, who can use a QR code for business? Let's focus on business tonight. Who needs it?
So I think some of the biggest beneficiaries of QR codes today would be event organizers. Okay. I know for a fact that most event organizers will not pre-sale their tickets because they're so worried about them being duplicated.
Which is a common problem.
And then you kind of have a catch-22. You don't know whether people will come, but also don't want to pre-sale because you're worried about being outsmarted by Kampala people. So why QR codes come in is for every ticket that you pre-sale, it would have a unique identifier. Of course, this would require you to work with an event, with a tech company that would probably
like you guys,
exactly, would develop for you a database that stores every unique ticket in the database and can uniquely identify each of the tickets. Okay. So like something we've done for the Rotary Cancer Run, for example. They're able to pre-sale kits before they even get into the country. So people are able to go online and pre-order all the kits that they want, and they receive a unique QR code in their emails identifying their basket with all the kits that they have purchased.
Like if national media bought.
Exactly. If you bought 100 kits, maybe 20 medium, 10 large, I don't know, different sizes, you receive an email that has a ticket that tells you these are the many kits that you have. Now what we did for them, we developed for them an app that they use to scan those QR codes, and they'll be able to know exactly what you bought, and then they can dispense it to you. Okay, very interesting.
Earlier you talked about inventory management as we were chatting at the beginning. What do you mean? How could a QR code or QR codes help me manage my inventory? So what are we talking about here?
So I'll give an example of let me use maybe the millennials and the Gen Zs who sell things on social media.
Okay.
Yeah. While supermarkets have standardized devices that they use to use, say, the barcodes, I think to better understand QR codes, you have to know its precursor. So the precursor to the QR code is the barcode, highly standardized.
The one that came before.
Yes. That has particular patterns that you must store behind it.
Okay.
While a QR code allows just anything. Now, for people who operate small businesses and they want to be able to manage their inventory very well and know, okay, I bought shoes from China, I bought shirts, I want to be able to know how my inventory is moving. Maybe I'm no longer there, I've got a boy who works for me. So you will be able to print unique QR codes for every one of the products that you have. And as they are going out, they are being scanned, so you're able to know how your inventory is moving. And this goes beyond, it goes even beyond, say, product selling. An organization like NTV, for example, you have a lot of equipment that goes out to the field, and I see most of it is engraved, and I want to believe that the old age-tested method of writing in a book, what has gone out, is still being used, and it is very, very efficient.
But however, it's getting outdated.
It's getting outdated. However, if each of the equipment had a QR code which is storing information that is relating to it, the way I'm seeing this standard has NTV STD009, that could be put behind a QR code, and it's printed and then laminated and put safely on the device, on the camera, on the stand, and when it goes out to the field, the inventory manager would have an app, that would be able to scan, what is going out, scan the ID of whoever is taking it out, and then it is safely stored in the database. So you know this camera went with Noah, this camera went with Samuel. When it is returned, you have your list of inventory that has gone out that you expect to be coming back. You just tap, scan back in, and you have that information. So this business of people have lost equipment, and then somehow a fire starts mysteriously, and then you lose the information.
And the book burns.
The book burns. When you have this, when you embrace technology in that way, you're able to improve on your inventory management.
Okay. Now, no, I need to establish a system where there are QR codes. What would you require from me if you built for me a QR code system? So
what I would require, aside from paying me to do it for you,
apart from the payment,
apart from the payment, you don't need special equipment to deal with it. Most smartphones, as long as it's running Android or if it's an iPhone, they are able to identify QR codes. So taking advantage of the technology that those manufacturers have put in place, would be able to uniquely identify every QR code and make sense of it. If a QR code, for example, is just a website link for something that you're selling, you don't need anything special for it. You just get your phone, point it at the QR code, and it identifies it as a website. If it's a contact card, a V card, contact card, you point it, the phone will interpret it immediately as a contact card and store the contact.
What I need to know, Noah, is if I come to you, what are the ingredients you need from me for you to build for me, apart from the payment?
Apart from the payment. So I'll just need to know what you need to use it for. So for example, if you're going to use it for inventory management, I'll say, okay, we need to have a database behind it that stores your inventory.
So database?
Yes. So we'll develop for you a database system that manages your inventory, but instead of you keying it in your keyboard, you're using a QR code, making life very simple. So we'll basically, it's building on top of existing technology, but making life much faster. There are a lot of things we need to do in this world. Some things need to be automated and made faster. Yes.
SMEs listening to you know are thinking, but if I do that, I see the efficiency, but the cost. I'm not saying you say the actual cost, but isn't it costly?
No, not really. Not really. Especially,
like, does it add to my cost of operations?
Not exactly. Especially given the fact that most people now have embraced smartphones.
Absolutely.
You don't need anything special. You have your app that has been prepared for you to deal with your business in that sense. Any smartphone. It's running Android, it's an iPhone, it has a camera. I mean, I don't think there's an Android phone without a camera or an iPhone without a camera.
No.
by default it can understand the QR code. You don't need anything special to actually understand.
You the tech guys, I'm thinking, okay, it's just the phone. Once you guys build it on the database, I need what? Database sits on what? Servers.
It sits on servers. Those are things that we do for you because I mean it's our everyday work. I mean we will not ask you to manage your database for you. We'll sit down, agree on what kind of business you want to do, and we agree on a few maybe maintenance costs. They're not very high. For that kind of efficiency, they're not very high.
And tailor.
Yes. And say earlier I talked about events organizers. You don't even have to pay for the service. We actually have a ticketing platform. You can just come, use it, maybe just pay a few handling fees for online payments, and that's it. And the app is there for you, free to use. Okay. Yes.
Very interesting. Finally, limitations. If I'm an SME considering using QRs, what should I bear in mind?
So the limitations, the limitations would come in terms of. Again, I'll use an example of events. Every technology has its own limits.
Absolutely.
While QR stands for quick response, while it's very quick response, it requires you to have light, to have ambient light, to be able to use it. So in most events happen at night. So the limitation would you either have to have a flashlight or be in a very lit place to use it. But that is usually a very small cost to pay.
You can take care of that.
You can take care of that. You can always take care of that. Phones have, camera flash, so you can always use that. But that is what I see as a limitation of QR code. And maybe using the example you talked about of your fishmonger, who said use the merchant code. Now, if he had a payment portal that has a link that is behind that QR code and said scan that code to payment, and you have a capability. You can't do it.
No, you can't.
You cannot do it. They would expect you to be to have a smartphone.
Yes.
However, I have seen restaurants that use it for the menu, for example. Because they're high-end restaurants, they expect that all their customers have smartphones.
Okay.
So they say scan me to get that menu.
Okay.
Yes.
So the limitation would be the technology in terms of the phone.
In terms of the phone.
Okay.
Yes.
That means if I deal with some clients who I might have to have a plan B.
You might have to have a plan B. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Noah, for educating us on the QR code. It's in our life, and what are we going to do? It's coming at us even if we want or not.
Most definitely.
Viewers, we hope we added value to you. If you have thought a QR code is just something you have encountered on WhatsApp, now you can use it for business. You can visit Noah. It's a Jengo Tech
Limited.
They can Google you and find you.
Yes.
Jengo Tech. If you want to know more about QR, now it can help you in your business. That was the link. Thank you for joining us tonight.